Natalie Lynch is a credentialed investigator and licensed attorney, not a vlogger.
What do you do if the interviewee asks for a witness? I'm sorry, I keep saying it depends. If the interviewee is a member of a union, they have a right, according to the Supreme Court of the United States, to have a witness. And so they need to get a union witness if they ask for one, if that person is a member of a union. Otherwise, you need to know the policy of the client that you're doing investigations for. So if it is your client's policy to allow witnesses, then you can go get one. And if it's not, don't let them. There's a couple of categories of, and if you're not letting them, you need to say things like, this is a workplace investigation. You're expected to participate robustly. Your employer expects you to participate in solving these issues. But there's a couple categories of witnesses that we should probably talk about. So one that sometimes comes up with young people is that their parents want to participate in a interview. And that can be super tricky if they are minors. If the person that you're investigating is the minor, if your accused is the minor, you want to tread super lightly. And I'm going to avoid giving legal advice about that because that is such a unique situation. And you really do need to get external legal advice about that for yourself and for the client. Hopefully they've asked someone, again, who's not you because you're neutral, to help them out with that situation. But most of the time, it's so unlikely that the kid is your accused. And so if the kid is the person bringing the problem forward, perhaps your employer wants to allow a parent in the workplace. Most often they don't. And I would, kind of speaking off the cuff and being frank, sometimes helicopter parents have a hard time with that. But by the time a kid is old enough to have a job, they're usually old enough to answer some questions about their job. Other instances that can come up, witnesses want to ask for legal witnesses, so their own attorney to come in. And most employers don't allow that. Again, at the end of the day, as the investigator, that's not your call. Your call is to be a neutral third-party investigator and to do an investigation in accordance with the client's protocols. But most employers don't allow employees to bring lawyer witnesses in. Some government employers do. So again, it's really up to your employee. The one thing that I will put out there, a lot of times people ask for witnesses because whatever is being discussed is really upsetting, and they just sort of want that emotional support. And if that really is what it is, having a spouse in the room can sometimes still be a bad idea because of the intimacy of a marital relationship, or a close intimate relationship can interfere with disclosures about something that's being discussed. But maybe that's the right thing, or letting them bring in a friend or a close coworker if it really is just emotional support. Somebody to say, "Hey, take a deep breath," or hey, Natalie investigator, can we take a 5-minute break? I can see her face is getting really flushed, things like that. But one idea that can really work if it is truly only an emotional issue is to bring in an emotional support dog. And so emotional support dogs are credentialed more and more often, but at the end of the day, an animal, and a dog in particular, can be incredibly soothing for all the reasons that they are allowed in most federal and state courts these days. But they also don't speak English, and so dogs never talk, they never spread gossip, and all they're doing there is being benevolent emotional support vehicles for somebody having a hard time being an interviewee.
Mom, you have to tell people to like and subscribe.